Yo, Kassandra here. We're back with another verse 99 video. So today we're going to be talking about Ezio. I just finished my live stream. I did a lot of testing, played from him for a few hours. So I'm going to give you my, first impressions, if I think you should or should not pull, what's his pull value, and we'll also talk about some portrays. So let's go ahead and quickly talk about his kit. I think the most important things to highlight is that he doesn't use Moxie. He uses his new system called synchronization, and pretty much it's kind of like an energy system. Once you reach 100%, you can go ahead and automatically cast his ult at the start of the turn, and it doesn't use any of the action order. You can just cast it and then you can go right into using your incantations and all that stuff. So that's really nice. And then the second thing, honestly, it's this apprentice assassin. It's like a little stack here, and once you get to 8 stacks, you're going to get to master assassin, and this is going to give you a lot of damage bonus. Okay, and this is going to really contribute to how he does so much damage. And then in terms of play style, very simple. If you are playing him as the main DPS, you are going to pretty much use his 2 cards every single turn if you can, and you're going to always start off with the counter attack. Okay, this self counter here, you use the counter and then you go ahead and use the attack. Always use it in this order because this is going to give you the most damage. And then his ult is really cool too because it has 2 parts. If the enemy is over 50% HP, you're going to use the other one. This one is going to do more damage for enemies over 50% HP, and the other one is going to do more damage if the enemy is under 50% HP. And at the very end, he's going to do a big slash that does a lot of damage. And this is going to vary depending on which weapon you choose. So let's go ahead and talk about this. Okay, this can seem a little scary, but it's actually quite simple. But also, if you wanted to be very complex or really kind of tune your Ezio for a specific fight, you do have the luxury to do that, which I love, and this is why he's so awesome and he's so flexible. Okay, so let's go ahead and quickly just talk about the playstyles here. The first weapon is a follow-up attack weapon. The second one is an ultimate base playstyle, and then the last one is a poison genesis damage playstyle. So follow up, ultimate, genesis damage, these are your primary weapons. Okay, and then you can go ahead and support that playstyle with the secondary weapons here. Okay, and the reason why I say it can be very simple is because of this very first weapon here. This very first weapon is very generalistic in all 3 archetypes or 3 playstyles. So if you just look at the follow-up attack weapon over here, you have it selected. Now this very first weapon over here, this one gives a very easy to understand generalistic buff, which is when attacking, any excess crit rate turns into crit damage, which is really good. You can kind of use this into any scenario. Okay, the second one over here, this is the ultimate damage playstyle, and it's very simple. Again, at the start of the round, synchronization plus 15%. And again, synchronization is the new system that replaces Moxie. Pretty much at 100%, you are going to use Ezio's ultimate. So this one's also very general. You can use it in pretty much any fight, and yeah, you don't really have to think about it. And then the last one, the Genesis poison damage. Obviously, you're going to be wanting to stack poison on the enemy to do more damage, to do more Genesis damage. And again, the very first weapon, very generalistic, basically attacking where you'll inflict 1 additional poison onto targets for 3 rounds. And this can be pretty much used in any scenario, any fights. So if you don't want to think too hard about the weapons and the combos, choose the type of damage you want to do. You want to do follow-up attack damage, ultimate damage, poison damage, and then if you don't want to think about it too much, just slap on the very first weapon. Is probably going to do just fine in every fight. And that's really nice for people who are very casual, don't really want to think about it too much and just want to use Ezio. So now for the people who really want to fine-tune their Ezio for that specific fight, let's say that fight there's a bunch of mobs and you want to keep on attacking, you want to do Lucy kind of damage or Lucy kind of play style, then you would go with the follow-up weapon here, and then you would actually go one of the other 2. So if you go on the second one here, this says if you kill an enemy, you will actually do another follow-up attack, right? So this would be a perfect weapon for multiple enemies, or you're killing a boss and a bunch of mobs. So again, that's why it's so good. He is so flexible, and you can really fine-tune your Ezio for each specific fight and make him shine the best in that fight, okay? Or you can just, if you don't want to think about it, just use this one. This one is also probably going to do just fine in that fight. And this is the same thing for all of these weapons. These two secondary weapons are going to make the ultimate more niche, and then the also poison and genesis damage more niche, or more catered to whatever fight you're going to go into. So that's what I really like about him, the flexibility of his playstyle. And when he can be played into 3 different playstyles, he will be able to play into many teams. So here's some clean play of the follow-up attack team. 80k follow-up attack. We got another 110k follow attack here, using him with Flutter Page, Mercury, and Fatutu. Over here, this is the poison team, and this is ulting with him on the poison team. So his ult is going to do extra genesis damage based on the amount of poison stacks the enemy has, and this guy has a ton. Watch this, 150k, 160k genesis damage. Oh, another 160k. Watch this, he's going to do 700k damage total, but you can't really see it because it gets cut off. 700k, crazy. And then obviously you're going to play him in the ultimate team. Honestly, his best team is probably the Gitian, Euphoria, and CN, but right now I'm using with Hisabith and Milani, and honestly his ultimate hits pretty hard. Look at all these big numbers here, and watch this final attack. I'm going to slow it down. It did about 500k damage. So honestly, all 3 playstyles are pretty insane. All right, on to the very last part for Ezio. Should you or should you not pull for Ezio? Okay, if you're a new player starting this patch, I think Ezio is a no-brainer. You should definitely pull for him. He's gonna make progressing through the whole game much easier, and you're probably joining because of the AC collab anyway, so that's really good. Also, another thing to keep in mind is because he has access to the 3 different archetypes, this is going to make team building for you a more flexible, and honestly this secondary weapon is going to help you in a lot of different fights since you're a newer player. So let's just say this, you pull for Ezio, and then the next time you pull like the next limited character, you accidentally get like maybe Flutter Page or something like that. Right now you have a really good follow-up attack team. You can put Flutter Page in with Ezio, which is really good. Let's just say you did not pull for Ezio, right? And then you pulled a character like Barcarola. Barcarola has only one playstyle. Barcarola can only, or usually is only, played in the impromptu team. There is no flexibility. You have to use her with impromptu units, so you're very locked into teams, or else she's not going to perform very well. But for Ezio, that's why his pull value, why he's so good, is that he can be played in many teams, and he can be played with many characters, even characters you didn't intend on pulling, maybe characters you lost 50-50s to. Having him as your centerpiece as a new account is really good. That's why I would suggest, newer players to pull for him. And then in terms of like older players, more veteran players who have like established teams, say you have the full impromptu team, which is disgustingly OP, or you have the Recoleta team, really good as well, or you're planning on pulling the CN units in Nautica and Dynamo, and you're not really sure, should I pull for Ezio because Ezio is looking pretty strong, is he going to rival the damage of the newer archetypes in 2.8 and 3.0? Well, if you're kind of worried about that, you're not really sure, then wait for this girl, Kassandra. So Kassandra is the second AC collab unit that's coming in the second half of the patch. So Ezio is actually going to run the entire patch. So when the Kassandra banner comes out, you will actually be able to pull on both Ezio and Kassandra at the same time. So you don't have to worry about Ezio going away. The reason why is, if you have looked at this page, a lot of her abilities are going to support your team, and honestly support Ezio. Over on this side of the tree, this gives crit rate, crit damage. Over here it gives like penetration rate and attack damage increase, and then in the middle here it actually gives specific boost to specific archetypes damage, which is all of Ezio. So over here, this one is going to give extra incantation might. This is going to buff his follow-up attack damage. Over here, this is going to increase the genesis damage, and this is going to boost his poison playstyle. And then over here you got another extra action damage increase, and then an overall just kind of a general damage bonus. So Kassandra is looking like the best sub DPS / support for Ezio. With Kassandra, Ezio could potentially be stronger than those CN teams you were initially planning on thinking about pulling for, which is the Nautica Blood type team, the Lucy Dynamo team, and all of those teams. If you're on the fence of whether or not you should pull Ezio because of like meta reasons, I guess, then definitely wait for Kassandra before pulling. Alexios is not unlocked until another 20 days or so, and he is also part of the Assassin's Creed collab team. This team is probably going to be called the Assassin team. They do this damage with assassination, and this is actually going to stack Ezio stacks to make him get his damage bonus more, and then he's going to give it to his assassin teammates at a 70%, blah blah blah, all that stuff. So basically these three are probably going to form an assassin team, and then they'll probably have one more unit that you can slot in and out of depending on which playstyle you're playing. If you're not sure, wait for Kassandra, see how well she actually boosts Ezio before you pull. Okay, moving on, let's go ahead and talk about the last thing, which is Portrays. So let's just say you do decide to pull. Okay, and a very quick thing here, just be very careful. It's very enticing to pull more because of this new system where you can get a portray at 100 and get a copy at 60 pulls after 160, and this is like, ooh, maybe I should go a couple more pulls here and there to get the next portray. And you're going to keep spending pulls, but just be careful. And the quick TLDR, if you are looking for a good portray to stop at, if you get P1, that's fine, you can stop at that. Or if you want to go for a little extra, P2 is a great stopping point. This is going to overall buff all of his weapons here, and then P5 is another huge boost to all of his weapons as well. P3 and P4, they're basically just damage multipliers. They increase his damage, yes, but I would say P1, P2, and P5 are pretty okay stopping points. Okay, but I would not pull for portrays. In fact, the best advice I can give to you is, I think Kassandra is going to be super important in this team. So the best thing you should do is pull for Kassandra first. If you have extra, then come back to pull more Ezio portrays if you really like him. But I think P0 Ezio is totally fine, and Kassandra is going to make P0 Ezio even crazier. Okay, so that's pretty much what I think about Ezio. Hope you guys found this helpful, and if you are pulling him, and good luck to all of those that are pulling him, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.